Hey, Johnny, we told Chris. What's up, buddy?
Sit down, man.
All right. How's everybody?
Good. How are you?
Great.
We're just talking about a guy who got arrested for being naked and hard in Florida because the rain gives him an erection.
See, the naked is one thing, but the hard takes it to the bad level.
Also, he was carrying a bottle of cooking oil with him. So
Then that brought it back into funny.
But doesn't that make you admire him a little bit that he can maintain an erection outside in the rain, walking around? There's something admirable about that.
That's real concentration. Like, early on in Jackass, if we were in a van and you heard Pontius go, and you would look back and he would be masturbating in the back of the van. And
why?
I don't know. But you would see all the guys jumping over the seats because he could finish too.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's mind over matter. That's a guy who's a master of his facilities.
I asked him, like, how do you do that? He's like, I just keep telling myself, dude, you're so rad. You're so fucking rad.
like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
you're a fucking rock star.
Pontius is the greatest.
That was still, to be able to talk yourself into staying sexually functional is amazingly impressive. Like, I could never talk myself up into keeping an erection. I wound up talking myself out of it.
Right. Yeah, once you start thinking about it, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
So
there it goes. It's wilting away.
Are you in a relationship now? Are you single?
I'm married.
You are married?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. How long?
7, 8 years.
When you're as famous as you are and you get married, is it one of those things where you're like, fuck, I'm leaving all these people on the table? Like,
opportunity?
Yeah.
At that point, I was ready to. I had done that,
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't. I was like,
You feel like you got it out of your
I just
system.
want to be with her. So,
I'm just greedy.
You are.
Yeah.
You still can't. Well, you haven't had
greedy.
you haven't had like the influx that I'm sure all the Jackass guys
I have not.
had. So
no.
you know what I mean?
It's been a steady trickle since
Exactly.
1991.
Exactly.
started out slow, then kind of petered out.
Yeah, it's a steady drip for the last almost 30 years.
Does she worry about you when you're doing because I guess, the movie Action Point, which I've seen the trailer for, I think it's genius because you're figuring out how to take the essence of Jackass, which is we get to watch you hurt yourself, but it's an actual film. It's a narrative movie.
Yeah, like Bad Grandpa was a narrative with pranks. This is a narrative with real stunts.
Right.
And it was important to me that there would be no cutting on the action in this film, be all wide angles, so that there's no trickery. We're going to ground and concrete. And
so how seriously are you taking this? Are you trying to stay in character as you're writhing in pain, or is that point I just hurt?
Well, you don't have to stay in character because you get, you fly 20 feet in the air for 6 feet off the ground and slam face first into the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
They just watch the character do that. So whatever you're reacting is,
you'd react the same way.
But everyone after that one, I'm talking about the alpine slide stunt I did in the film, and I came off the track so fast, fly through the air, slammed so hard into the ground, gnarly concussion, eventually caused my eye to pop out. But at the time, after I hit, I start giggling because that's my nervous reaction to pain.
Right.
And so everyone thought, oh, he's okay.
Right. Yeah, because the giggle is like, oh, that must have really hurt. All right, let's get up and do it again. Not, I just broke my orbital bone and I concussed myself.
Right,
that's not
right.
generally the giggle phase.
How many
anymore.
concussions have you had?
I had 4 on this movie.
Oh, Jesus.
But I've had around 16 overall.
Do you worry about CTE and stuff like that?
I do. I've been to neurologists and talked to them about it, and I was in the middle of getting tests. After my 3rd concussion on this film, I got a series of tests, and I had a couple more to get, but they said my brain had effectively reset itself, and then we did a reshoot, and I got another concussion and knocked out a few teeth. So
You did.
I got to start the test all over again.
What caused you to knock out your teeth? What was the stunt that you got the last concussion and knocked out your teeth?
I was doing a thing where my character, Older, is kind of telling his granddaughter about the kind of a narrative device. And so we were filming that, and my character was doing a pull-up. And the bar broke. I meant for it to break. And I meant to pull up to my chest. So if I pull up to my chest and the bar breaks, I'm going to flat back. And the bar hits me here. but I got excited and over-rotated and landed on my head, and the bar hits me right in the mouth.
Oh, wow.
So I got a concussion and my teeth.
Which teeth?
This one,
Bottom row.
this one, and the front one
my
was
God.
pushed way back, like almost parallel with the roof of my mouth.
Do you have moments on the set where you're like, why am I doing this? Like,
I think after this film, I did take a second, and because I had before the reshoots, I had lost my mom in November, and then it's like, oh, I got to go do reshoots now, and it was, so I thought about it more than I ever had after a movie, just because it's like, do I want to make my kids feel like I'm feeling right now?
You mean
Right,
by
yeah.
making things wrap up early when you don't have to, by doing crazy shit.
Right. So
how does your family react to you doing all this stuff? Like your wife, especially. I can only imagine very poorly.
They like the pranks, but no one in my family likes the stunts.
Right.
Because I have to go to a certain place, and it's they don't like it.
So what do you see yourself doing if you don't want to do the stunts because you really are getting hurt, and after a certain age, you're like, all right, I'm getting concussions. What do you want to do?
Keep making films.
But just different kind of movies.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
You've done a lot of
I could
movies.
do
with
another
no
bad
stunts, yeah.
grandpa. I could create another character where I prank people. I'm, developing some pictures that are in the vein of what I do, but I'm doing documentaries. So there's a world of things I can do. I will eventually have to stop doing stunts because I realize there's only so many chances you can take.
You've been knocked out more than a lot of fighters have.
Yes, and in a lot of even in the football, like everyone has helmets on, but I'm not wearing helmet in any of mine, so I don't know if that's better or worse.
Probably worse. I would think worse.
Probably worse. Yeah, they speculate helmets help.
So.
Yeah, if it were better, they would probably have the football players stop wearing helmets.
That would actually, because the leather helmets that they used to use were, when everyone was wearing them, they were safer overall because they were just protection. But then once they switched to the modern helmets, they went from protection to being a weapon.
Right.
So it would be safer. It's like boxing would be safer if they fought bare knuckle because people's hands break long before.
That's right.
Interesting.
Because I mean, they tape their hands. They're like bricks.
Yeah.
And so you can go longer. Your hands can go longer. And bare knuckle is kind of getting a resurgence because of that notion. It would just be safer, which is a weird thing.
Don't some of those fights go a long time though? Like some of those bare knuckle fights, those like legendary ones where like 80 rounds of bare knuckle fighting.
Oh, well, you talking about in the old days?
Yeah.
In the old days, boxing used to be that way too. They would go 80, 100 rounds, and a round would end when someone get knocked down. It was.
Oh, so just every round people would get knocked down.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was, and then they. I think eventually had to stop that, but boxing. The old boxing was brutal. Just watching those Jim Jeffries fights and Jack Johnson and those guys.
Even the old 15-round ones from the 80s and the 70s, you forget like that last 3 rounds, people got really fucked up.
Yeah,
that's why
13, 14, 15.
Yeah, Ray Bam, the Dooku Kim Boom Boom Mancini fight. I think that's the reason they went from 15 rounds to 12 rounds is when Mancini, unfortunately, Dooku Kim died in the ring.
Yeah.
So
we were just talking about that like recently,
Yeah,
and
we were.
that was Wide World of Sports, I think. It was like on live TV. It was one of those ones that everybody saw happen, I think, unless I'm remembering it
I
wrong.
watched the fight, and I remember reading about it in Sports Illustrated, and that morning or the night before, Dooku Kim had written "Kill or be killed" on his lampshade.
That's right.
Which is like, oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
You think of that as a thing you're saying. You don't
Yeah.
actually think it's, oh, fuck, this is like a literal...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he meant
Literally kill.
Yeah, I think he was just in a fighter state of mind. But when that happens, it's it's terrible.
Now, so what's the mental place that you have to get into to do the stunts? You were just saying before that when you do stuff like this, your family knows that you have to get into this space where you're going to be doing this. What is that?
I just kind of have to let go a little, and know that I have written these stunts, and I know what has to happen for us to get the footage, and so I just suppress whatever fear I have.
And you'd rather
And
have it
slip
look
into
good.
magical thinking.
You do.
Yeah.
You'd rather have it look good and hurt than look faked.
Yes.
Do you have any stunts that you've done, whether it's in this movie or the Jackass days or whatever, that have been like a 5-second stunt that nobody even really talks about, but it's excruciatingly painful? Like, you know, where that relationship isn't quite what it should be?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes the ones you think are really going to work out don't work out, and it sucks when you get really hurt and that we don't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember a stunt Ryan Dunn did in Jackass 2. He was on top of a van, surfing the van, and maybe Preston drove it straight into the water and stopped. But he stopped short, so Ryan kind of just fell off the top of the van and just hit his head in the shallow water.
Jesus.
And it was really gnarly.
Yeah.
And it was really compelling footage, but we looked at it and we thought that looks really imitatable.
Oh, yeah.
And so we didn't put it in the movie, and it really hurt Ryan that we didn't put it in the movie.
What do you mean imitatable? You didn't want things that people were going to do.
Right.
Like, that's why you use contraptions and find, like, a bull and get all this stuff that you wouldn't find.
Ride a rocket. Like,
right.
No, they're not going to go out and make a rocket.
Right.
So we it's just one of those things.
Yeah. What made you want to tell the movie this way as opposed to just doing, like, a story-based movie? You know what I mean? Like, what was it about this that you were like, I want to get back to doing stunts? And
Well, there is a story. It's just...
But, I mean, like you could have done a movie where you're just telling a story and not hurting yourself, right?
Yeah, but it's better with stunts. It's funnier with stunts, and
yeah.
So that's why, it's like what I do.
Right.
So...
Yeah, I mean, it
called for it. The world called for it. I mean, not the world. I mean, the world in which we were shooting,
Sure.
a dangerous theme park.
Right.
It's a perfect setup for me to do stunts.
Did you like hear the stories of this dangerous theme park or the dangerous theme park that it could be based on, and go like, oh my God, imagine if this happened and that happened, and this is
exactly
the story
what happened. Someone sent me the 14-minute doc on Action Park.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not someone, Derek Freda, who produced the film with me and helped, come up with the story. And it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
We both were like, that's it.
Well, it's a really unique, I mean, you can already see in the trailer, like, it's just a really unique way of doing this, because there's this realism to it, because you can see that the stunts are actually happening.
Yeah.
But there's this clear, like, it's like any other comedy. You know
Like
what I mean?
Borat, in a way, there's certain things that are real and there's certain things that are mixed with the storyline, and it kind of blends together and it makes a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes.